You are now listening to Asking for a Friend with TalkDoc, sharing insights through real, honest, and practical ways to improve your communication and relationships. Featuring your hosts, Dr. Pamela Kreiser, Meredith Edwards-Nagel, and Taylor Polendo.
Okay, isn't it crazy how fast the holidays are coming? It's kind of hard to believe. You know, I'm shopping in Costco, I see the Christmas trees, I see pumpkins everywhere, and here we are thinking about all the shopping we have to do, all of the things we have to buy, all the people we have to see, and the trips we have to book. But wait, there's one thing we forgot. We forgot to plan the communication that needs to happen during this holiday. Now think about it for a minute. You and I plan all those other things, but we don't plan how we want all our interactions to go. Well, you're in the right place, because today we're going to start talking about communication tools that we can use to survive the holidays. So if you aren't already listening to our podcast, we're a podcast that helps you learn real tools for everyday life. Well, I'm Dr. Pamela Kreiser, and this is Taylor Polendo, and this is Meredith Edwards-Nagel. And together we do a podcast called Asking for a Friend with TalkDoc. So I don't know if you've listened to it on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, but it's available everywhere. What do? We work on communication tools for everyday life. This episode is to introduce our new series called Survival Kit for the Holidays. And so today we're going to talk about expectations. And as we talk about expectations, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, this is crazy how much we expect things at the holidays. And I'm like you. We expect all kinds of things, right?
A little bit.
So when we're thinking about expectations, we want to get very practical about what to do to make our holidays better. Now, one thing I want to say before we get into today's episode is to remind those of you who maybe have lost someone this year or have someone missing from your family dinner table, to let you know that we see you, we hear you. We've been through that situation where we've had somebody missing. And as we face the holidays, maybe it reminds us that we have to be better than ever at getting prepared, because we don't know how hard the holidays are going to be for each of us. But with all that gentleness and all that preparation, there's lots that we can do. Now, if you listen to our podcast regularly, you would know that occasionally I like to spring a quiz into the situation.
Oh,
and so I'm going to start this episode with one of my usual tactics. I know you knew I was going to do it.
You said that.
I said you were
doing
it. I know. Well, you know. So
Can I cheat?
you're going to try to cheat. Yeah, now I have to hide the cards, right? So I like to do these quizzes, and while you're watching or listening, maybe you can think of what your answer might be. Okay, so here's the question. Which is reported to be a bigger stressor in the holidays? Placing pressure on yourself for the perfect holiday, or taking more than you can handle each year? Taking on more than you can handle. Which is a bigger stressor?
I think taking on more than you can handle.
Okay. Okay.
No, you need the perfect holiday. We want matching pajamas, the perfect picture. We're going for perfection.
Okay. All right. And Taylor is the winner on this one. Okay. Which means you're currently losing the quiz, just saying. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so
There's no competitive
all right,
measures.
so in the study, 67% of us said that placing pressure on ourselves to have the perfect holiday was a concern for 67%.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so here's from the same poll, the question for you, and this is free response. Okay, so you have to be free responding here. What is the greatest source of stress in the holiday season? What's the greatest source of stress?
Expectations of yourself.
Okay.
Is that an answer?
I'm gonna check. No, it is not on the list.
That was you were trying to get into the episode. I see what you're doing there.
She was trying to cheat her way into the episode.
Yeah, I know, I saw that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say like something about money or like financial stressors of like making it the perfect holiday.
Okay, so here's what's crazy. That is the number one answer, extra financial strain.
Do I get a bonus point?
Well, you get 1 point, so you're currently tied. So there will be a runoff question.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so but maybe some of these are on your list. So putting up holiday decorations made the list. Stressful family events. And funding gifts for everyone, which is different than extra financial strain. So we had got money twice, right? Okay, Tiebreaker. Okay, what percentage of Americans report they have a hard time relaxing on the holidays?
What percentage?
What percentage? So out of 100, what percentage say they have trouble relaxing?
76 trombones.
It's just whoever is closer.
67.
I'm sad, Taylor, to report that Meredith won the quiz.
Is it right? Is it 76?
77.
Oh my-
But you're pretty darn close.
Oh my
I know. I think she looked at the card, everyone, and you're going to have to watch for this because we have sort of a, we're
we
always
should
looking
replay.
after cheating. Yeah, I
Wait,
know.
rewind. I did not cheat. I'm just a little bit better.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay.
More.
All right. So today we're going to talk about expectations. And so, you know, we've all been there, right? I have this person that I know who, so this was crazy. So they were dating for a couple years and she was super excited when she got up Christmas morning and saw that little black box below the Christmas tree. And you know what she was thinking? Oh my God, this is it. Like, this is incredible, right? So she goes in to get coffee and sees this little box, right? And so she's thinking, this is amazing. It's kind of weird because my family's around. So, you know, we'll just go with it. Mm-hmm. And then in front of the whole family, she's thinking, you're going to propose right here, only to end up getting the earrings, right? The diamond earrings and not the engagement ring. So what's my friend thinking? I wanted the ring. I don't even care about these earrings, right?
Yeah, you're disappointed even though you have this amazing gift.
Right, you have diamond
totally
earrings, you know.
Yeah, you're sad to get diamond earrings.
Right, and so it's funny how when we have these high expectations, we get kind of stuck in that, and that's the only thing that has to be, like you were saying about the pajamas.
Yeah.
Right, the matching pajamas, and then one kid throws up and those pajamas are out.
Or just refuses to put them on.
Yes.
As kids do.
Yeah, as kids don't want to wear clothes at all. Right. And so, yeah, it's kind of a crazy thing when we have those expectations. I remember one time as a young mother, I have 3 kids, and as a young mother, one time I went to, with our oldest child, he had, in his preschool, joined a little choir. So he's like 4 years old. I've got him in the red sweater, you know, the button down, like he's all ready to go, hair slicked down. I'm so proud. And the grandparents can't go to the show. So I think, okay, this is going to be fine. I'm going to do like this incredible video and it's going to be great. And it'll be like, it's the first grandchild on my husband's side and it's going to be so cute and he looks so cute and we're all set, right? So there was a balcony where I could go and take what I thought was going to be the perfect video, right? So I got there early. I got like in front of everybody,
Taped
kind of
off
to
your
get, yeah,
sleeve.
I like
No.
caution taped around where I was going to tape my 4-year-old with his singing premiere. And the song starts and they all look really cute. And I'm looking through the camera and I see him mouth, "I'm hot." And I'm like, oh no. So he starts taking off that Christmas sweater.
No.
And I'm like, oh, no, 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 no. And I'm in the balcony and I can't run down fast enough to get this to stop. So he starts unbuttoning his shirt, starts taking off the shirt. So he has no shirt. And the teacher finally, you know, kind of gets him and takes him off the stage.
Oh my God.
And I was like, you know, we're like the bad family.
Not only are we not the top.
Yeah, I was like, now I played up this whole video thing for the grandparents. Like now I have to admit to them that, you know, do I even tell them how it actually went? You know, and
streaks.
right? Isn't that kind of how it is, right? There's how we want it to go and then how it like actually went, which is probably never how we wanted it to go, right? Kind of the difference. I don't know what you guys think about expectations on the holidays, but it's kind of a crazy thing.
Expectations. I remember the first year Ralph and I were dating and I'm going to spend Christmas Eve with his family. So I assumed he'd be spending Christmas Day with mine.
Oh.
Yeah. So it was not a great time. I think I do all the top 10 like TalkDoc don't do communication errors. Definitely our expectations were different and he had his thinking like this is the last year I'll have to spend the whole holiday with my family and I can see all the family.
Yeah.
And I was not happy about that. So homeboy spent several hours driving back and forth. Our families live about an hour away from each other to fulfill
He did all that?
Yes, he drove me
That's
to
delightful.
my family like in the middle of the night, and then drove back to his parents, and then came back the next morning to see me, and then back to his parents.
Yeah.
Nice guy, but
Wow.
I definitely
That still sounds
I
like it
had
turned out the way you
expectations.
wanted a little bit.
Well, not quite.
Yeah,
but,
I guess.
But
Okay.
yeah, I definitely had expectations. He had different expectations, and we went in. Now we have to talk about it before.
Yeah.
Like scheduling's a huge one. Whose family are we going to be seeing? Who are we?
Right.
Who's coming to our house? Yeah, the whole thing. And I would say it's much better to have the conversation
Yeah.
beforehand instead of just both going in with like, oh, this is what's
Yeah.
going to happen. No.
Wait,
Yeah.
are you talking about planning like you tell us to do all the time?
I do
and
mention that quite a bit.
Planning and preparing your communication
Yeah.
before you get into the event?
Yeah, I do say that from time to time, yes. I
Yeah.
repeat myself.
Oh no. Yet another thing I have to do better at. That was making me think about a friend, genuinely a friend, that reached out. I was asking her, questions and things with family, and there's this expectation that there is one family member that is always late and always gets waited on. So there's 3 siblings, and if one of the two are late, then meal goes on. So you have the dinner or whatever. But if this one brother is late, then everyone stops. And it's like must wait for that one sibling. And I think that's an interesting like expectation that like she'll go into that going, well, I expect that we are all treated the same.
Yeah.
But that doesn't always happen in families.
Yeah, that's actually factual, unfortunately, right?
There are real favorites.
Yeah, I joke about being the favorite, but maybe there are
you-
real
but you
favorites
really,
sometimes.
you really are.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, you talked about pre-planning, and one of the things that I would say, yes, I do repeat myself a lot on that, but that kind of goes to the survival kit theme, right? So we're doing the survival kit, and so what do we mean by that survival kit? Well, if you're going on a journey, right, then, and we hear news stories sometimes where we hear somebody went on this hike and then got lost and found themselves like on a mountain unprepared. And I
Yeah.
kind of think that like the holidays are like that. It's like,
How are we
hey,
gonna survive?
yeah, you're going on a journey. You're crazy not to bring some supplies with you.
Yeah.
And pre-planning, I think, is one of those things, so what are you going to do to prepare yourself? And as I think about the survival kit, right, I'm thinking you got to kind of think of what's in a traditional survival kit to kind of know how to prepare communicatively, right? Because
Yeah.
that's what we're thinking about.
Yeah, we're gonna need you to break that
She's
down.
prepared.
Yeah, no, I-
she is prepared right now.
So I
Let's
did
hear it.
some research,
Okay, no
and
surprise.
because I don't carry survival kits with me all the time, but I thought, oh, that'd be kind of interesting to see what's in a traditional survival kit, right? So you could form the analogy and say, well, there's protective gear, things for shelter, and items to keep warm.
Okay.
So I would kind of think of that as like boundaries or ways that we can protect ourselves from maybe dangerous situations. Of course, there are dangerous situations sometimes in families, so we would want to have those in place, right? First aid, hygiene, sanitation is a category, right? So we know that sometimes family members injure us. And it's like, you're going to get injured and just bleed out? No. So we've got to have some measures of, if I get hit by something that someone says or someone does, am I ready to enact first aid? Do I have the supplies for that? Am I ready in that way? Next one's nutrition, right? So this is something that I found very interesting when I was first married, which was when I was in my early years of my marriage. That sounds like I've been married a few times.
I know,
I've been married one time, still married one time.
That's just me, the two.
So, but I remember thinking, sometimes we would book these 10-day visits or these, longer stays because we lived out of the area. And I would think, I'm like starving myself here. I'm doing everyone else's activities. There's nothing to give me nutrition, right? There's no way for me to kind of take care of me, so to speak. So that's, of course, a theme to talk about. My favorite, of course, is going to be emergency communication devices need to be in that survival kit, right?
I like that one.
And I like that because I think, just like you said, you had not talked to Ralph about that first holiday, and now you do.
Yes.
And we can get into a lot of different communication devices that couples use or partners use to navigate some of these dinners and events and loaded, situations with expectations, to say, what are the emergency devices when we know this thing might happen, and think danger or think risk or something like that. And if I get myself in that situation, what tools do I have to get myself out of that situation?
Yeah.
And so that's how I'm kind of thinking about survival kits as like the category. So when we're talking about survival kits, we're talking about this idea that there's all those kinds of things that we can do to build our communication so that we can survive the holidays. Now, let's talk about the word survival. Notice I didn't say win the holidays or conquer the holidays. We're trying to survive, people.
Let's start
This
with
is
our
family.
expectations.
Okay,
Lower
right?
the
Expectations are already lowered right there.
Right, so let's,
Just surviving.
so your expectations right here, let's lower that just one floor down, maybe 2 floors down, right?
Do you want to make it?
That's right, that's right. That's right. So where has this kind of gone wrong in terms of expectations?
Oh, it's a terrible time.
Yeah, let's talk about how crazy we are. We're like gonna get into like personal problems now. Is that what we're doing?
I mean, not that you have any, but you could.
Just tell us that one time, the only one time.
The one
you've
time.
ever gone wrong
I've
for you.
only ever messed up with high expectations once in the holidays.
Yeah.
No, I have like a laundry list of those, and I'm just gonna pick my worst one. So,
Okay.
I actually, a lot of what this makes me think of, because I realize I don't prepare for any of the communication, because you think like, well, this is my family, I can just be myself, or
Yeah.
I gotta whatever, like act a certain way or whatever, just to survive.
Yeah.
But I like that through this surviving, we're gonna have tools to help us and hopefully help us respond differently. So, what this makes me think of a lot is expecting change in others in my family. So I'll kind of I'll go into the holiday. Typically, I'm not hosting. It's usually a parent or like an older sibling or something. We used to be grandparents, and I will expect that everyone will magically decide to share like duties. Like I won't just be the same one person doing everything all the time, but other people will get off the couch and will participate in the hard parts, like the cooking, the cleaning primarily.
Like this year will be different.
Yes, like I walk into
Okay.
it like this year everyone's gonna change, and I'm realizing through all of this that I'm learning to expect people to operate in a way I think that they should, and that basically I lack enjoying my own holiday because I'm going into it like that person's going to be different like this year. They're not going to be grumpy. They're going to participate. It's going to be all of these different things. But I'm not able to just be there. And I'm kind of tired of that. So basically, in a really bad way of telling this drawn out story is that I would like to handle some tools to approach this next holidays, with my own family, now that I have in-laws, and not wearing this hat of just constantly thinking of how everyone else should be, but letting things be and enjoy myself,
Right.
And as I'm developing a family with a partner, to be able to, I don't know, it's a little complicated for me, but I just want some practical things that help me slow down and not basically on the drive get stressed out that like somebody's going to be the same like they have been every year.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is reminding me of when my husband, who was my fiance at the time, came to his first Thanksgiving. Okay, so I had told him we have a huge family. There's a lot of people, but it's always, I kind of built it up because I wanted him to want to go. So I kind of did a sort of
You sold the family holiday.
You sold the family Christmas.
Well, here's what I did. Actually, I actually lifted the expectations, right? I did what you should probably not do. And I said how great it was going to be, how fun it would be, how great the food would be, how everyone, it would be charming and,
Pick my family.
Yeah, so I pumped it all up only to have this happen.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so we get there And my family's big enough to where they would put name tags like on the table.
Okay.
So sometimes we would have maybe 70 people for Thanksgiving dinner.
Cool.
So we have a lot of tables and a lot of people, usually a few
That's a
turkeys.
mess.
A few turkeys, right?
Sounds like a fucking nightmare.
A few turkeys?
No, you have to. If you have 70 people, you have to have like 3 turkeys. So, okay, so anyway, I know, it's my family. God bless your family.
We're not judging you.
Yeah. Okay, so I kind of build this up. We get there, and I realize that Pete is not going to be sitting at my table. So they have put his tag over with 2 of my uncles, who basically interviewed him for his whole Thanksgiving dinner, first time at my family.
Can you out who set the table?
I actually don't know who did it. I was so shocked, and he was kind of like, bye. Like,
You
bye.
followed along?
I didn't know what to
You
do.
didn't switch tags?
I didn't know what to do.
I would have switched the tags.
I mean, it's a crazy thing. So anyway, so that was our first Thanksgiving. After I built it up as like this fun, fabulous
geez,
thing.
yeah.
He's now at a job interview. Like they would eat turkey and then they'd go, let's get back to what you said about your career. And he's like, I'm feeling a little pressure here.
Oh my god, how old was he?
So like 24,
Oh my god.
just trying to figure it out.
Fair.
So I know, isn't that wild? It's so funny.
So
So-
basically you went into a first holiday with a fiance,
Yeah.
expecting that you guys would be together, that the family would take you guys in
yeah.
as a unit almost.
Yep. They were
But
gonna
you
love
got-
him. Yep.
They were like, the family was like, no, we're
Divide
doing
and
it.
conquer.
We're doing it the way we're gonna do it.
I was completely shocked. And I didn't have any tools, nothing. I sat there like,
How did he do?
he did super well because he's great at that, but he didn't like it.
Yeah.
He still says those uncles are great, but one of them's an attorney. So it was like, sorry, no offense.
No.
I know you're not an attorney, but you do represent
Still-
our
still hide
legal
from them.
interests. Yeah. So anyway, it's kind of, where I went wrong, you were saying you go wrong by thinking, that things will be different this year and not having tools. In my case, it was thinking too grand.
Or the opposite, that it would go
Even better than
Yeah.
normal. Like it would be dreamy, honestly. Here's the young engaged couple for this beautiful, they're gonna just embrace us. And
Oh my gosh.
no, they're gonna separate us and put us at separate tables. Happy
Do
Thanksgiving.
you guys sit together now? How many years in?
Yeah, we're like 32 years in and we're good.
Oh, okay.
And we sit at the same table, actually, ever since that day.
I feel like mine is very different, where I expected my partner to be my same level, like my expectations of him. So we're going to like a weekend away with the whole extended family, and for a lot of, I'm meeting some of the family for the first time. So I'm thinking I need to make a great impression. I'm expecting Ralph to support me in that.
Yeah,
He's gonna make me look good as well,
because
This
that's his job.
right?
I'm on your expectation
Okay,
train right
yeah.
now.
And this is your first holiday with his family.
It's a holiday like away with the family, and
Okay.
Yeah.
so it's my first time with a lot of them, and we're playing a game now. Both sides of our families,
Uh-oh.
we take games very seriously,
Uh-oh.
but my team is losing hard, like 0 points, and
Oh no.
the other team.
That's not good for Taylor.
I mean, you lost already today?
I handled it all right. Okay. God.
Oh yeah.
So-
Remember when I won?
Wow.
Remember that? Sorry.
Good job on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right. Okay.
There's
so,
other episodes.
Yeah. Well. Shit.
Sorry. So your team's losing.
Okay, we're losing. God, remind
Say it
me.
again.
And the other thing though is that the other team, they're winning poorly. They're
Oh,
like being
God.
assholes about it. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm really pissed off about that happening, and I just need to look good. I need to get the family on my side, and the way I'm going to do this is by cheating. So.
Get a girl.
All right,
Just
so
kidding.
you grab
just
a
in
card,
case.
and there's either like both teams get to guess and all play, or
Yeah.
just my team gets to guess and my play. So I grab the card. It's of course an all play. So I say it's a my play, and Ralph,
Uh-oh.
for whatever reason,
He saw your card.
no, he just knew that.
Like
Uh-oh.
he knew you and knew you were lying.
I guess I say it's my play. He says, "Are you sure?" Yeah.
He said, "Are you sure?" in front of your family.
Oh.
No, it goes on.
Oh.
Taylor, You sure? It says all play. Yes, it says all play. Okay, if I come up there and look at the card, is it gonna say all play?
Oh
You mean my
gosh.
play, right? It said all play, but
sorry,
you said,
sorry.
yeah.
Thank you. Yes. No, I'm saying yes. I'm saying it's a my play, and it really says all play.
Okay.
And so he
And
says, I come up there.
he's putting you on blast.
Blast.
Oh.
Now
No,
he
no.
starts to get up and come to check
Oh
the
no.
card. So I'm just digging my heels in. I'm not gonna like fess up and say like, oh, okay, you're right, or you called my bluff, okay?
Yeah.
No, I'm thinking he's gonna come up, look at my card. We're gonna have a moment. I got your back. She's cheating, but
Oh, you let him look.
yeah.
Oh my
And
God.
I'm at no
She
point
trusted him.
say, okay, fine. I like am going with. I'm committed to the lie, and.
And you
Thinking,
think
he's
my
gonna
partner's
make
gonna
me
commit.
look good and like,
Yeah.
okay, we've got this secret. She cheated, but she's really trying to impress the family. She's gonna help the losers win. Like, just give him a point. God damn it.
We've got a scene.
Yeah. He comes up, looks at it. Not only has he now made us lose the game, like he's calling me a liar and a cheater. He just lets everyone know.
He called you a liar and a cheater.
He called me what I was, a liar and a cheater. He told the truth. And
Oh, God, the
I'm
truth.
devastated.
A partner that tells the truth all the time, and it would be your husband.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my
Don't
God.
you hate those?
The next 24 hours didn't go so well.
No,
for
that's a tough
Raphael.
one. The recovery's tough on a scene.
So what happened after he outed you?
I'm pissed.
Which I'm sure you didn't show at all.
No, I tried so hard. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, I was like, okay, I'm not going to play the next game, but I won't sit and pout in the corner. I'll sit at the table and watch you all play, but, like, I cannot muster.
You
Yeah.
didn't continue the game?
No, I finished the game, but I didn't play the next game.
And were you the only one out?
No, another family member also didn't play because of how
Okay.
poor sportsmanship, like, what was going on. We were like, we cannot handle
A
Yeah.
negative emotional
these
climate
people
again.
right now, so we're going to
Wow.
just sit and watch you guys.
Wow.
So you went into a first holiday with a partner expecting that, like,
He's got my back.
He's got my back.
As you would think.
Like,
Well, wouldn't you behave better at a first? You would think that, right? Wouldn't our
I would-
expectations be higher? Like you're going to be on
He
your best
probably thought
behavior.
that I would be honest. He's like, why aren't you?
Be on your best behavior.
Why
Come
aren't you
on.
on your best
so
behavior?
your
Right.
failed expectation, if I'm hearing this right, is that you're see, I hear you saying this like, oh, I'm expecting my partner to have my back, and like that's a great expectation, but you're saying even if I'm a liar and a cheater
Yes.
at the
Oh
holidays.
yeah, true.
Yes.
Right. Yes. All
at
of
a game, I get it, but okay.
Yeah.
you. Yeah. So we're gonna need some tools, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can
This
unpack some of these things.
Family survival kit is struggling. All right.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting question to say. Okay, so then what journey are you on? So maybe that's the first question. And then what kind of tools do you need to add to get through that journey? So the 1-day hike's different, survival kit's different than the
Sure.
10-day, right?
Okay.
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 So maybe that's part of anchoring us back to reality a bit.
So like surviving a meal versus like
Yeah.
spending
Yeah,
a
that's
weekend with the holiday at the
Yeah, or me. I mean, we used to book like 10-day visits, and I would think to myself,
10
why did
days.
I do
So
this long of a
exhausting.
visit?
I love my family, but that is too long.
Well, sometimes it was because of some of you will be traveling, right? You need to make it a bigger visit because of the expense or because of the amount of people that you need to see. So that's, we
Yeah.
all have different needs, right?
That's true, yeah, like having in-laws in another state. Now that I have that,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I have to orchestrate when and for how long, and yeah, I never thought about that until the recent.
But if you're going on one of those big journeys, let's think about that, right? That's a big set of preparation that needs to happen. And as I said in the opening, are we planning just the food and the shopping and the perfect gifts? No, we've got to plan the communication. And so that gets us kind of into what our podcast is about. And we joke about saying asking for a friend with TalkDoc like it's a funny way to say it. But, we're all asking for a friend, and that friend might be us. Right? What do I do tool-wise to survive this?
Yeah.
It kind of sounds like we're saying, we all go into holidays with that, like, I want to look festive, or
Sure.
I want to bring the perfect side dish, right? But it sounds like what you're asking us to get into is, instead of what visually is going on, what's actually going on at the table.
Sure.
Is that kind of what we're doing?
Well, and over the course of the holidays,
Yeah.
right? So what are some tools that we can think about, talking about maybe based on previous episodes that we've done,
Yeah.
to talk about some tools that we would recommend and maybe apply them here.
Speaking of which, ladies, I did do my homework because I'm a really, I'm a really good student compared to Taylor.
Oh boy. Okay.
Actually, well, I mean, you're a little bit better student, but
So now we have another liar and a cheater.
You're supposed to have my back.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is the film rolling? Okay.
Let's like restart this moment right now. Okay, no. So, but no, really, when I was telling my story earlier about like expecting people to change or expecting people to share the duties or expecting just like walking in with all of these laundry lists of expectations of how everyone else should be, it made me think a lot of 3 episodes. One is episode 6, Meet the Bickersons.
Yeah. So
like big on like just useless like triggers or tools of things people say, like the complaining about. So like saying like, why are you so lazy on the couch or something?
Yeah.
You know, like I've done that before, and you know, I don't like that
Just
I've done
noisy.
that, but it's just it's just noise. It's just trash. And another one is episode 26 we've done, perception checking, my favorite. Because it just leads to a lot of different options or questions, and I really like how that episode, the tools are to get more information. So if you listen to it, you talk about how the tool works if you go into it with the goal of more information. So the goal isn't that I'm going into the holidays proving myself right, that people are the way I think that they are. But if I go into the holidays with a little bit more of an open mind and be able to ask neutral questions of people, then maybe I get more information, you know? Like, for example, and we were talking earlier about Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving is on a Thursday for like probably most families.
In the United States.
Yeah, and my family for the last, I mean, I want to say like 13 years, we do Thanksgiving on Friday. And I remember I used to think like, oh, it's because my parents cater to this one sibling of mine because they had a relationship and they always did Thanksgiving with the in-laws. And so we're just always catering to the holidays for this one sibling. And I'm a brat, and I thought like that because I wanted to be annoyed with the person because we cater to that sibling, right?
Right.
And then I started realizing, like, just kind of part growing up, but also asking, especially my mom, you know, like, why? Why do we do this? And learning that the more information I got, like through the perception checking, is that she just wants to make space for everyone to go and not feel like they have to go through that battle of picking this family over that family. And now that I have in-laws and, you know, I'm navigating that, I'm like, wow, that's actually really generous. Oh, exactly. I was like, I thought you were just catering and I'm annoyed, but now, I mean, I get Thursdays off anyway, so that works, and I just have this free day for Tommy and I to chill.
Prep
so
day.
Like, it's actually really like, it's become something really nice because I got more of that information, which had I not, probably would still be thinking,
judging some action.
Yeah, because, you know, classic middle child.
Yeah, but I think it's easy. I mean, it's easy to do what you said, right? So that's the guard that you may want to have up for the holidays and say, don't go in expecting everyone to be the same, nor expecting that you know all the answers. Because it's interesting to find out that's not, the actual intent was pretty great. I want to be more inclusive. I want to create more space. I mean, it's kind of cool.
Sorry, family. And then the other one is, the last one I thought of is episode 13. It's called Stories We Make Up. And I'm gonna need a little bit more like education on this one.
She's pointing over here. I see.
Because
I don't mean to be in the line of fire here.
I love Taylor's eyebrows. Every once in a while, you can pick up the strong sense of emotion coming from you based on your eyebrows. Anyway, no, all of that interconnects, like the useless bickering and complaining, and then back to the perception checking, I got more information, learned it's a generous thought.
Right.
But had I not done that, I would have continued to keep that narrative in my head that, like, I have to bend for this family member. This always happens. I have to, you know. Then I realize it kind of makes me sound like a brat. And I don't want to be like that. Why am I living with all this tension?
Or making up that story and then just telling it to yourself again?
Yeah, over and over and over again. And then, I don't know. And sometimes just saying it out loud to someone else, like even just telling you guys the story about Friday Thanksgiving, you're like, wow, that's really generous. Like that's your first thought. But for like 10 years, my thought was like, we catered to the family member,
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So it's about asking questions and not assuming you know the answers, or asking questions in a way that could be another answer.
Yeah, and allowing that, right? Because you talked about that perception checking.
Yeah.
So asking questions, not affirming that I'm right. So I could have gone to my mom and asked the questions to get like, admit that you're doing it for that family member and you wouldn't do it for me, right? Because the narrative is that we cater to this person and we don't cater to me. But that wasn't true.
The story you made
that
up
was the story I made up. But by asking the question in perception, I'm not asking the question to prove that I'm right. I was actually like, okay, I just need more information.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is actually really nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're like, wait, I wasted 13 years?
Yeah, what a waste. I mean, I was in high school for some of those years. So, I mean, a little slack, okay?
Yeah.
High school break.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
So that makes me think, what about you guys? Because I want to be not the only failure at expectations here, please.
Well, we're getting the tools, right? So there's no failing anymore.
Okay, oh, you're right.
There's all repair.
Okay.
Right?
I felt like what I had to do with this story, even though I wanted him to have my back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I reframed it. And I really like the episode of reframing because it's called the birthday mindset, but the way I think of it is like the glass half full. They say, and you're an optimist, you have lower rates of cancer, like all good things, we want to be optimists.
Right.
And the difference between an optimist and a pessimist was how you view bad events. So I'm looking at this negative event of my failed expectations that my partner would have my back, and I'm going to reframe it and make it a nice picture that what an incredible partner I have who has.
Yeah.
I like the reframing. It's hard. That's a hard one.
It is. I can't wait to hear how this turns out.
I know. I'm sorry.
No, I have an incredible partner who has high integrity, and he holds me to that. And I think that's a great thing because he wants me to be honest at all times and to play a game with integrity.
Oh boy.
I don't know if I'll always do that, but I think, like, ultimately, that's how I reframe this one, is that I'm not going to say it was right, but that...
We wouldn't
say that.
We wouldn't go quite that far.
Wouldn't go that far. But that's my reframe, is that he has integrity, he's an honest person, and wants to hold me to that same standard.
Sure.
Which I can appreciate.
Yeah.
So that's my reframe, and I'm sticking with it.
Yeah, one of the tools that I'm thinking is about an episode that we talked about, episode 5, where we talked about shutdown mode.
Yes.
And that situation where you go into a family setting and all of a sudden you become emotionally flooded. So by that we mean that you're so overwhelmed you're not actually functioning anymore. And some of you might have this situation where you are going into a family situation where there's maybe a lot of triggers or maybe a lot of, like we say, survival kit. There's a lot to survive. And one of the things that I was thinking in listening to that episode and thinking about this idea of emotional flooding is, I think, part to the pre-planning conversation is to say, when we're pre-planning, let's plan what happens, with my partner. I can say, what happens when I get flooded? Like, how are we going to handle that? Because now we have spectators.
And flooded, just for me, in my For Dummies, is like that. Is the overwhelmed? I'm
overwhelmed, and now I'm kind of checked out almost. So I'm shut down. Like, I'm not able to play the game or have the conversation or sit down at the dinner. Like, I'm done. I'm out.
Yeah. Okay.
Overwhelmed. Right. So the question then is, if that's something that could likely happen. So this is like planning. What are you putting in that backpack? We know that might happen. So let's have a plan for when I get flooded, and let's have a plan for when you get flooded. And what are the behaviors we can do to support that? Right?
So talk in advance about
Talk in advance.
Is that something that's a conversation you have to have then prior?
I think if you know that's flooding is one of the dangers, you're going to pack boots, you're going to pack raincoats, you're going to pack umbrellas, protective gear, and to think that you have that happen every year, but this year it won't happen,
Right.
Why are we unrealistic like that? And I'm driving in the unrealistic bus with you. Okay. Right. I want it to be better. But the reality is, if we thought about the holidays a little bit more, we would say, no, you're going to need the raincoat and you're going to need the umbrella and you're going to have to talk through both scenarios. What happens when one of us gets in that place and what can we do to help? And we talk in that episode about different strategies like taking a break, coming back later to have the hard conversation, if it's the right thing, if it's the safe thing.
Right.
You know, and figuring out ways to help the other person navigate it. So, for example, like if I get flooded, the worst thing my partner can do is demand that I speak. And so the tool is, hey, you got to redirect this conversation for a different time. You already have a group of spectators. I'm overwhelmed. The worst thing you can do is question me. The worst thing you can do is try to force
you're
me.
Drowning and
Yeah.
like, let's just dunk you a little bit.
Yeah.
Dunk you another time.
Right. And so, but some of that is doing some of the work that I know is kind of a pain because I hate prep work and I hate, doing homework and all these things that we have to do in life. But the reality is we've got to figure out what needs to go in that backpack. And if the journey's longer or we know it's more dangerous, we got to fill the right tools.
So, can I ask a question? Sort of like a question and recap a little my understanding. A lot of expectations seems to be something you can navigate with another person, whether that's a partner or like a healthy sibling relationship, maybe, or some sort of one other healthy person in your family. And now we know, like, sometimes you're going to go into these holidays alone. And through later episodes in this family survival kit, we're going to get into things like that, right? Because I'm thinking, what if I went into that alone? I wouldn't be able to navigate that with someone else, right?
No, but I think that's a different set of things in your backpack, right? So in that episode, we talk about what do you do to help yourself.
Okay.
And you get out of the conversation, for example. One of the things you do is get out of the conversation, but you don't ruminate about it. So you give yourself the break, but you actually figure out an activity that works for you. So is that a run? Is that yoga? Is that music? But do something to get yourself out of the pattern, knowing there's work to do, but you don't have to do it this second.
Like, I need to fill my drink up.
Wait, is this where you need like the code word with the partner?
I mean, you could do that, but you could have it with yourself and say, I need to have an out, and I'm going to plan that because I know this is going to happen. I'm going to get off the bus now and get realistic and say, okay, this is going to happen. It happens every year. Grandma says that thing, and I can't react, and I'm super triggered. Or,
personal,
or my brother, or whatever.
Something within yourself. So if you can't do that with another person, we're supposed to figure out how in ourselves, like, how do I go into this holiday or this family event and get, like, I know I'm going to be bothered already with, drunk uncle or weird whatever.
Or when they bring up this negative thing in my life, maybe, and I don't want to talk about this dark cloud.
Strategy. Or a pause strategy.
Or like, I gotta pee real bad. Or like something that helps you like plan. So a lot of it goes back to you telling us to plan for
we plan,
things.
But we don't just plan all the holiday things, we plan the communication.
Okay, yeah.
So that's kind of where we are in the survival kit. So as you're thinking about your holidays coming up, think about the tools that you'll need. We have 5 more episodes where we're going to provide you with lots of different tools with the hopes, really, of having us all get a little better at the holidays. We don't have solutions for everything, but we would say that there's a lot of options out there of things that you and I can do to get more realistic and plan ahead, planning the communication. So with that said, I think we're good there, right?
Until next time.
Cheers.
Asking for a friend.
Once again, thank you for joining us today. Please remember to rate, share, and subscribe to our podcast. And thank you for listening to Asking for a Friend.
Let us know what you thought of the episode. Our email is hello@afafpodcast.com. This show is for educational purposes only and is copyrighted. Written permission must be granted before syndication or rebroadcasting. Thanks for listening to Asking for a Friend with TalkDoc.